Have you ever thought that changing your name would change you because you've done some infamous stuff? Well, today we're going to go over somebody that changed his name to a different killer. We're going to talk about Joel Rifkin.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at texasmobilenotarymindy.com. That's TX, mobilenotarymindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yes, today we're going to talk about Joel Rifkin. Put in the comments, starting out from here, and figure out who he changed his name from and see if you're right, because this is a hilarious one. I couldn't believe it when I heard it when I read it, but going through this, it was just it was the funniest thing. So today we're going to go over Joel David Rifkin, born January 20th, 1959, also known as Joel the Ripper, because he J and Ripper, yeah, you get it. Anyways, Rifkin's parents were both young college students, and his biological father was an Army veteran. On February 14th, 1959, when he was 3 weeks old, Rifkin was actually adopted by an upper middle class couple living on Long Island. Rifkin performed poorly in school due to learning disabilities and the unpopular with his classmates. He graduated from East Meadows High School in 1977, then attended classes in Nessus. Stephen Hawking. From beyond the grave, we have our first problem.
Nassau
Community College, the State University of New York, and at Breckport, and the State University of New York and Flamingdale. But left after even trying to earn a degree. After leaving college, Rifkin became a self-employed landscaper. Now, going on to the murders. In 1989, a golfer reached the 7th hole at the Hopewell Valley Golf Club in New Jersey. He noticed something odd in the creek running alongside the course. It was a paint can with a severed head inside. The head went unidentified for 24 years. Blood tests revealed that the murder victim had been HIV positive, and the residents of and a resident of Hopewell Township. Uh, okay. And residents of Hopefield Township soon began to speculate about the victim's identity of a serial killer. Now, the reason why this head was actually not able to be identified at first, uh, what had happened going over the actual video of this crime, uh, the person that found the head, the cops actually came by, uh, collecting the evidence and everything. And what had happened is the person's face was ripped off because it was just the top part of the head. They had actually some forensic investigation, sciencey stuff, recreate the jawline because the teeth were gone, all the kind of identifying markings were gone. But let's get back into it. As time went on and the head was never claimed, rumors begun to circulate and always seemed to end in two possibilities: the mafia or a serial killer had done it. Recalled J. Bruce Oakturn. Stephen Hawking's From the Grave. Please help me out with this.
Olukotin.
Sorry. Burped at the same time trying to say that. An author who lived in the sleepy, most peaceful town at the time where the head was found. It turned out that later the latter was true. Joel Rifkin, a serial killer who lived in Long Island, New York, had murdered a sex worker named Susie in 1989 and then dismembered her body. To conceal his crimes, he placed her head in a paint can and left it in the woods next to the golf course. Susie, whose real name was Heidi Blanche, was Rifkin's first victim. Chilling, the murderer would go on to brutal killing of 17 women total, most of whom were sex workers, until he was arrested in 1993. Now, going in, and we'll go a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I ended up doing another one thinking I had more information and it didn't have any kind of information. But anyways, as Joel Rifkin entered adulthood, he spent most of his time alone and eventually began developing dark fantasies of raping and killing women. By the time he started classes at Newson Community College in the late 1970s, as I already said, he also became obsessed with visiting sex workers. He'd often skip school and his part-time job to spend time with them. Though he tried attending other schools, he continued to struggle in class. Around the mid-1980s, Joel Rifkin gave up on finishing high school or college and became a landscaper, as I already said. He would isolate himself and internalize these fantasies without developing strong social contacts. Explaining, for instance, experts in former FBI profile Mark Shankford. Safaric. Basically, what the forensics expert said is he turned inward. In 1989, Rifkin finally lost bowled over as he murdered his first victim, a 25-year-old Manhattan-based sex worker known as Susie, whose real name was eventually Heidi Blanche. After Rifkin brought Blanche to his family home while his relatives were away, he bludgeoned her after they had sex. He then strangled her to death before dismembering her corpse in the basement. I'm not for none. She was... I mean, the photos are really, really old, so... and she was not a bad looker. I don't know if her face was like acne ridden, or it was the photograph because it's a very, very old photograph. And she wasn't a bad looker. After that, he dumped her. I can't believe I'm doing that and talking about, oh, that victim wasn't all that bad looking. Oh, yeah, she's dead. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I'm a horrible person. After that, he dumped her body in various places in New York, in New Jersey, and in New York. Most infamously, he left her head in the Hope Valley golf club. Even though the head was found just days after the murder, it wasn't until long after Rifkin's arrest that anyone was able to figure out exactly who the victim was. Despite Rifkin telling the police about Susie, according to ABC News, it took a long forgotten missing person report from Blanchett's aunt, a DNA test for Blanchett's mother, and a photo comparisons between the two composite of the head and the picture of Blanche for a positive identification to be made in 1930. Not gonna lie, just a little heads up out there. I know this is gonna go a little bit off basis. Podcasting is hard. I could edit this and everything, but I'm not. Just to show you, people make mistakes. It's moving on. That's hard. Anyways, of course, at this time of the murders, Joel Rifkin was happy to go. I still can't get over the fact that I was like, oh, she looks cute. Oh, she's dead. Never mind. Sorry. Anyways, Joel Rifkin was happy to get away with the crime and as soon as began seeking out more victims. About a year later, he killed another sex worker, Julie Blackbird, while his family was away. Though these murders were largely similar to the murderers of Blanche, this time Rifkin avoided dumping any body parts in the woods and instead dumped them in rivers and canals, weighing the remains down with concrete. Soon after that, Rifkin started land camping business and obscurely represented career choice, respectable career choice. Jeez, I get good at some point, and then just my brain just wants to mess up. Fun. But in reality, he often used his landscaping tools to hide his victims' bodies before disposing of them. By the summer of 1933, Rifkin had killed 17 women, most of whom were sex workers or drug addicts, according to forensic psychologist and author Frank F. Weber. Theorized Rifkin preyed on sex work because he's thought of his birth mother maybe had been a prostitute. Now here's the strange thing is, and this is going off basis, and we're just going to wait on this. Most killers feel that anybody that's in the prostitution or homeless or drug addicts, they're easy victims, and not to say anything bad about it. They are easy victims and they are preyed upon by these sycophants that don't have control in their lives, or they're always bullied or put down, and they have these fantasies. And once they get started with the easy part of killing somebody, especially if it's most of these murders I've been talking about the entire time I've been doing these episodes, it's usually sex workers or homeless people. Because the people are weak. Joel Rifkin, I'm going to let you know right now, he is a weak person. He started killing so he could feel better about himself, and that's what a lot of these serial killers want to do. And I just want you to realize that they're weak. If you show that you're strong to these people, most of the time they run away scared like little bitches. So if you're in a situation, if he's like 6'4", and he looks like a shit brick house and he's got bound to pound onto you, just run. But in hindsight, run as fast as you possibly can. Don't do it scared. Do it running pace, and don't look back and get out of there. And if he sidetracks you and catches you off guard, take him down. Your life is worth more than his at that point. Just realize that, because he's going to kill you in your life. Your life is worth more. But anyways, I digress. But according to Himself, his decision to target sex workers was a strategic way to avoid getting caught during the murder spree. I killed prostitutes because they had no one. They had no lasting relationship, no families to care for them, and no one would ever look for them. And this is true. This is very true. That's another reason why they do look for prostitutes and homeless people, because everybody like looks aside to the homeless people and don't even think anything of it. They don't get to know them or anything like that. So they're just extra street stuff. Joel Rifkin's final victim would become his undoing. In June 1993, Rifkin strangled the 22-year-old sex worker Tiffany Branchy and then drove her body back to his family home. Along the way, he picked up a tarp and rope. Once he got to his house, he placed the wrapped body in a wheelbarrow in the garage. Well, it festered for about 3 days in the summer heat. On June 28, 1993, Rifkin was on his way to dump the corpse when police troopers learned his truck lacked a rear license plate. When they attempted to pull him over, Rifkin panicked and led the authorities to a high-speed car chase and ended with him crashing into a utility pole. As the trooper approached the wrecked vehicle, they immediately noticed the rancid smell and quickly found Blanchard. Man, I said it before and I probably messed it up, but we'll go ahead and do it again.
Bresciani's body.
Okay, Bresciani's body in the back of the truck. Once he was arrested, Rifkin soon confessed to not only murdering Bresciani, about 16 other women, many of whom had been sex workers, making him the most prolific serial killer in New York history. Though he was the only convicted of 9 murders, authorities felt relatively confident that he was guilty of all the killings he confessed to, as he provided specific details and even created maps showing to where he had disposed of the bodies. In 1996, Rifkin was sentenced to 203 years in prison, ensuring that he'd spend the rest of his life behind bars. According to New York Times, the serial killer apologized for the murders at his sentencing and said, "You all think that I am nothing but a monster, and you are right. Parts of me must be." Rifkin is currently serving his life sentence in Clinton correctional facilities in New York. Since being locked up, he participated in a number of interviews in which he offered insights in the mind of a serial killer. And you can see these on YouTube and other places. In 2011 interview with CBS New York, he said it was very hard to stop killing people, and implementing that murder for him was an addictive comparable to smoking. He said, "You think people are as things after that." But despite the extreme objectification of sex workers, he was ultimately proven wrong in his assumptions that no one would care about his victims since there were prostitutes, as some of the victims' family members made a point to attend his sentencing. And a few also prepared statements. Carol DeLeon, the sister of Rifkin's confirmed victims, 25-year-old Iris Sanchez, said, "Iris was far from being perfect or an angel, but I will say that she did not have to die the way she did, strangled in the hands of Joel Rifkin. Then he dumped her body like garbage. Iris Sanchez will rest in peace with our hearts as of today. But you, Joel Rifkin, will now rot in hell." She was nice. Despite the seriousness of Joel Rifkin's crime, his name ended up being part of an unexplainable, lighthearted plot line in the sitcom Seinfeld. Just 5 months after Rifkin's arrest in 1993, Seinfeld aired a memorable episode in which the character Elaine Bensley is dating a man who shares the same name as the serial killer, and she begs him to change it because she doesn't want her boyfriend to. Okay, this is fun. This is where I got confused. She begs him to change it because she doesn't want her boyfriend to have the same name as the murderer. Ensued the fictional Joel tries to come up with a solution to his dilemma, especially since he liked his name as is. Ironically, Elaine eventually suggests that he changes his name to OJ after browsing the sports magazine. Just 7 months before the football star, OJ Simpson would be accused of committing murder himself. The Seinfeld joke about Rifkin is still the best known reference to the serial killer, though there has been since release of an independent film called Joel in 2018, which dramatizes the murderer's life, and more recently in 2023, A&E's release of special cold case, The Rifkin Murders, which features multiple never-seen interviews with the killer. Seeing Joel Rifkin calm, matter-of-fact nature while discussing his horrific crimes may make some wonder whether anything could have been done to prevent him from being a monster. Chilling, we'll never know. That is it on that part. A lot of the other references I did on this was I did go through the couple of the interviews and everything, and it's kind of weird because the FBI forensic personality, man, I had the word in my head just now. For God, I wish I had people here to actually tell me what that is. It was Mindhunter TV show. But anyways, he was doing a psych eval of what the person was. God, personality traits and stuff like that. Who he probably is, age limit and everything. Just going over the evidence and everything. There's a lot of stuff that they don't put into a lot of these articles, but one of the things that I got was one of the investigators, one of the guys from New York, because he actually did get like 4 chemical barrels, and these are metal chemical barrels. And what he ended up doing is placing the body in there, and one of the police officers found. They had to go in and investigate and take notes and everything. On the first one, they found, and that officer respectfully threw up. I don't see anybody. You have to be like very, very not dead inside, because I know lots of people that actually can do that without having to go through anything like throwing up, or it still causes problems in their head, but they see it so often it becomes part of their lifestyle. Being a correctional officer, I still, certain things still messes me up, but there's some of my officers that when I was working with them, they would like be eating and going, and this is, I had to deal with a guy that got caught on fire. I mean, his skin was falling off and everything, and I kept my composure until I left work. Luckily, it was, I say luckily, but it was at the time frame to where I was about to get off. Luckily, I did all the stuff, so I left on time. And as soon as I got off, I got rid of everything in my stomach. Until some people, though, they want to be this all around like big macho type man and everything like that. But I tell you this right now, until you actually do those things, you don't you don't really, you humble yourself. Just humble yourself. I had a friend of mine that he essential like person that he was a man's man. Does his own farm work and everything. He raises his own chickens and hogs and uh, um cows. And he worked as a mortician. He was very, very dark person too. He loved dark humor and everything. And he worked in a morgue for like 2 weeks. He said I just did 2 weeks. And as soon as they brought in a kid that he had to fix up for a funeral, he's like, I'm out. And that's type of job that even the person that's like supervisor and stuff like that is like, okay, at least you made it this long. You have a good day. They know the people have their dropping points. But going off of that, then they found like 4 other barrels, and it ended up there's like, hey, I think we have a serial killer, and that's when the FBI came in and started doing a profile, psychological profile. God, words just leave my head sometimes. It has to steam. It's like making stew. Yeah, yeah, you have to make stew sometimes with words. Has to fester inside your head, and all the seasoning and everything gets in there, and words finally become words. But anyways, uh, again, I'm still working on the. It'll be out next week. I'll do the first part for uh Stalin. And he is a piece of work. He's an evil man. But anyways, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And good night or day or fun trekking.